These days, a lucrative career as a social media influencer is just one social media account away for really any of us. Instagram has a policy against children under 13 having their own accounts, but that has not stopped parents for running accounts for their children in an attempt to give their kids a head start in their social media game.
An investigation by the New York Times finds that parents think it's just a jump start into a modeling career for their child, but it can quickly descend into a dark underworld. Joining us now is New York Times reporter Michael Keller. Thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So what would you say is the motivation from parents to put their kids on social media?
So, yeah, the motivations ranged a lot. My colleague Jennifer Valentino DeVries and I spoke with about 36 parents in total, and some of them had children, most of them had children in dance or gymnastics. And so one motivation was they wanted to get free or discounted leotards or attire from clothing companies in exchange for providing modeling photos for their Instagram accounts. Others, really, as you mentioned, saw this as a boost up in the future, that they could build a following as a young person, and whatever they wanted to do with their careers, that would help them later in life. And many were getting benefits from it. They got invitations from sought-after choreographers to appear in dance shows, and opportunities they wouldn't have otherwise had. Others viewed it more as a business, and they took advantage of Instagram's new subscription feature and charged up to $20 a month for more photos of their child or access through chat sessions. Other platforms charged as much as $250 a month for those types of photo sets.
Okay, so Michael, what did you find then was the outcome? The majority of who was following these accounts?
Yeah, so we wrote a computer program to find out, just how many accounts out there are like this. And we had we found 5,000 before stopping our test and used that to analyze a lot of data related to it. And one of those things we found was as the account followers grew in size, so did the percentage of men that were following the accounts. We analyzed over 2 million photos and found that the photos that were more suggestive or racy also received more engagement via likes or comments. And it was really obvious. You would look at photos of these children in bathing suits, which, within their appropriate context, are normal. It's normal to wear a bathing suit if you're at the beach or to wear a leotard at the gym. But in the context of the internet, you had dozens and dozens of suggestive, inappropriate, sexualized comments. Pretty much every parent we spoke with said they wake up in the morning and the first thing they do is they block accounts, and it's the last thing they do before going to bed. The volume was just astounding of what they have to deal with.
Now, along those lines, unfortunately, there are a lot of creeps out here in the world. So when parents kind of make those complaints to Instagram, what does the app do from there?
Many parents complained that the reports that they made really went nowhere. We ourselves made over 50 reports over the course of many months and only got one response. And really, I think this activity, while some are benefiting from it, does come at a cost. Some of the parents, in the most extreme case, received threats of blackmail, that men were reaching out, accusing them of producing even more explicit content, and said, unless you actually produce this for me and abuse your child, I'm going to go to your school, your family, your friends, and say that you are doing this. And they would wield these threats. So it did get very scary for many people.
We talked about the dark underworld, in introducing you kind of in this segment. And what does the future hold for these kids whose photos are now all over the internet?
That was a question that psychologists that we spoke with raised as well. What are the issues of consent? Many of the parents said we do this because our daughter really likes it and it's fun, and that's totally understandable. I think a lot of kids would love receiving free clothing and presents in the mail, and people, going, very attentive to them and getting those rewards through social media. I know as adults, it's great to get likes on your photo. But they did caution of, what are the questions that we can deal with with consent, when you are not a full adult and aware of how a digital trail can stay with you for the rest of your life in some cases.
Michael Keller from the New York Times, thanks so much for joining us for this ongoing issue that we're definitely going to be talking about for years to come, for sure.
Thanks, Michael.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah.